Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's say thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa taala who has given us mercy and blessings so we can gather together here without any trouble and obstacle. Secondly, my salawat and salam always be with our best Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who has brought us from the darkness from the brightness, from Jahiliyah era to the great era. And my special thanks I deliver to my lecturer that has given us time to explain our understanding about the material, Sir Dr. Kaharuddin SIP Hum. And also don't forget my family and my friends whom I love. So let me introduce myself. My name is Wal Pajarasna and I'm from PBIB 20 and 17. And now I am in the 10th semester at UIN Alauddin Makassar. In this video, I will tell or explain about discourse analysis material, and there are 3 sessions that I will do. First, opening that I have done before. Second is the content that is material or my answer for the 10 question, and the last is closing. So to the certain time, let's begin the explanation from the question number 1. Here we go. The first question is describe the position of discourse analysis in the theory of linguistics. It is generally recognized that discourse analysis is the main linguistic study that examines the spoken and written use of language by indigenous people. It is not surprising that the development of discourse analysis theory is strongly influenced by the development of linguistic theory. It can even be said that it was linguistic theory that gave birth to the theory of discourse analysis. Therefore, to see how the process of discourse analysis in linguistic study occurs, until now linguistic theory have undergone 3 stages of development, namely traditional grammar, structuralism, and functionalism. And 3 stages of the development are like stairs that support each other, providing opportunities for discourse analysis to emerge as a theory. The first is traditional grammar theory. The main principle advanced by this theory is that grammar in tradition reflects the perspective view that one dialect or variation of language should be valued more highly than another and should be the norm from all speakers of that language. By adopting this principle, grammarians study English further by using a perspective approach which is an approach to language that is used to establish and enforce the rules that govern how a language is used. The second is structuralism theory. They began to look for an alternative theory to language study, and this took them out to find the structuralism theory. The Saussure's argument that a language was formed by a thing which finally produced parole, and utterance here is then understood as any meaningful event that has been made possible and governed to an extent by a pre-existing system of things. The last is functionalism theory. Chomsky further state that a sentence is human language are not learned by imitation and repetition but result from the learner's underlying competence. Chomsky's view of competence was finally recognized as linguistic competence relate to the abstract abilities processed by speaker that enable them to produce grammatically correct sentence in language. Speaker use abstract abilities to match sounds and meaning that enable them to use, understand, and understand sentence in a language called language. The second question is what are the difference between discourse analysis and error analysis in terms of their linguistic background, theory, and content of analysis? Explain your answer. My answer is discourse analysis or discourse studies is an approach to the analysis of written, vocal, or sing language use or any significant semiotic event. The object of discourse analysis are previously defined in terms of coherent sequence of sentence, proposition, speech, or turns at talk. While in linguistics, according to G. Richard, an error is the use of word, speak act of or grammatical theme in such a way it seems imperfect and significant of an incomplete learning. It is considered by Norris as a systematic deviation that happen when a learner has not learned something and consistently gets it wrong. The next question, what do you know of the following term discourse analysis? The first is communicative competence, language form and function, moves, exchange, discourse pattern. Discourse analysis is a research method for studying written or spoken language in relation to its social context. It aims to understand how language is used in real-life situations. When you do discourse analysis, you might focus on the purpose and effect of different types of language. The second, communicative competence. Communicative competence in sociolinguistic perspective is defined as the ability to communicate using language as the social reality. The next is language form and function. Students use language function in order to express idea, communicative with other and show understanding of content in academic setting. The next is exchange. An exchange is formed by a set of moves. It involves a situation where discourse participants in series of moves. An exchange can consist of a question and answer, a comment or more, depending on the given situation. For instance, when the first speaker asks the next speaker a question and he responded and the first comes back to give a follow-up, an exchange can be said to have taken place. The next is move. Move is the unit of discourse that is immediately next in rank to act. The next is discourse pattern. The discourse pattern of an expository text or of an oral presentation for informational purpose will vary depending on the culture and the native language of writer or speakers. The next question is what are the scope they are in spoken discourse? Explain your answer. The first is speaking as international. It is called interactional for several reasons, namely mainly building social interaction, focus on meeting the social needs of participant and interactive being a two-way participation. Interactional speaking can clearly be described as two or more more people meeting somewhere, they will exchange greeting, engage in small talk, share reasons, experience, and so on. The participants are involved in the interactional discourse because they want to be familiar and create a comfortable atmosphere of interaction between them. Therefore, interactional speaking reflects the rules and procedure that govern face-to-face meetings, such as a casual conversational discourse where participants chat about many things. They will change the subject very often. For example, the conversation may start about the weather, the move on to the sport, and then to the late and the last news before it ends. The second is speaking as a transactional discourse. As for the fact, many research reports show that people use speaking for a variety of different purposes. One is engaged in a discussion with someone. On the other hand, to seek or express an opinion, to persuade someone about something, or to clarify information. Speaking as a transaction refers to a situation where the focus is on what was said or done. The third is performance speaking discourse. Performance speaking is a type of oral discourse aimed at conveying information. Performance speaking is recognized the third scope of oral discourse in front of an audience, which is usually delivered in the form of monologue rather than a dialogue. Speakers speak in front of an audience. Speakers often use formalities such as class presentation, public announcement, lectures, and speech, which are closer to written than to spoken interpersonal language. Speaking performance can be illustrated as the process of communicating information to an audience using formal language, etc. Make speech and oral presentation. The next question, analyze the following extract of conversation to find out its discourse sequence, move, function, and internal structure. Jane, I really want to apologize to you. What for? I'm really sorry, but I'm sorry about what I said to you the other night. Oh, forget it. I can. It was a terrible thing to say. Please forgive me. Okay, enough is enough. Accept your apologies. In the conversation passage above, there are example of words that have meaning based on the first type of context, namely the context of situation. These words are found in the sentence, I really want to apologize to you, where gives the signal. What for? What do you mean by apologizing? Says I can. Someone without looking directly at the situation at the time said. In this case, it is clear how to context of the situation give meaning to the word enough is enough, which means ending the misunderstanding that occur. Therefore, based on from the explanation above, it can be conclude that the context of the situation is the direct situation where in the interaction between the speaker and the address occurs. The next question, explain the following terms of written discourse. The first is micro and macro analysis. The second, cohesion and coherence. the third grammatical cohesive device, and the last lexical cohesion device. The first is macro and micro analysis. The macro level is concerned with the topic, the main theme, and the gist of each text, whereas the micro level investigate the lexical, syntax, and rhetorical aspect of the selected text. The second is cohesion and coherent. Cohesion and coherent in a text crucial. Cohesion refers to the way which a text is tied together by linguistic device, such as grammar and vocabulary, to set up well construct relation of meaning within text. Cohesion may be deemed as a factor which determine whether a text is well connected or simple a group of unrelated sentences to each other. Hence, if a text has high cohesion, it will determine a text coherence for a reader. Sign cohesion is shaped by the combination between grammar and vocabulary. The third is grammatical cohesive device. Grammatical device can be understood as device used to create coherence in text. The device are called grammatical cohesion. Grammatical cohesion consists of four types, namely reference, substitution, ellipsis, and the last in conjunction. The first is reference. Reference is the act of referring to something or someone in the discourse. For example, two boys are playing badminton together. They look very happy. Is a pronoun example of personal reference, where the pronoun they refer to two boys. The second is substitution. Substitution is a type of cohesive device used to replace one item in a text with another item in another text. For example, this knife is too blunt. I need a sharp one. One is the substitute for knife. The second is ellipsis. Ellipsis is omitting a word or phrase rather than repeating it, and we don't need to substitute a word or phrase. For example, would you like a cup of tea? Yes, I would. The last is conjunction. Conjunction, which is generally employed to link clause by using conjunctive relations such as adjective. And the last is lexical cohesive device. Cohesion occurs when related word pairs join together to form large group of related words that can extend freely over sentence boundaries. Lexical cohesion has two major types: reiteration and collocation. Reiteration includes repetition, synonym or near synonym, hyponym, metonym, antonym, and general nouns. And the next question: describe how to analyze the pattern in data. The first is most people like to take camera them when they travel abroad. But one solution to this problem is to purchase a special design LED line airport. Nowadays have X-ray security screening, and X-ray can make film pouch. These are cheap and can protect film from all but the strongest X-ray explanation. The first is situation. Most people like to take a camera with them when they travel abroad. The second is problem, but all airports nowadays have X-ray security screening, and X-rays can make film. The third is solution. One solution to this problem is to purchase a special design lead line pouch. And the last is evaluation. These are cheap and can protect film from all but the strongest X-rays. The text above indicates how the four functions of a problem solution pattern work in forming coherent text, and the first sentence show a particular situation. The second indicates a problem due to the situation, and the third provides a response to the problem mentioned earlier, and the purpose solution. In conclusion, we could then say that the texts are written on the basis of SPRE principle, which stand for situation, problem, response, and evaluation pattern. However, we need to keep in mind that in the text, all the cohesion device, clause, relation, and text pattern work together for connecting ideas to from meaningful. The next question is describe how to analyze sentence pattern in DA. Habibie was born in Parepare, South Sulawesi Province to Alwi Abdul Jalil Habibie and R.A. Tuti Marini Puspowardojo. His father was an agriculturist from Gorontalo, Disken, and his mother was a Japanese noblewoman from Yogyakarta. His parents met while studying in Bogor. Habibie's father died when he was 40 years old. In the first sentence, Habibie is relatively predictable information for most Indonesian, but the rest of the sentence was born in Parepare, South Sulawesi Province to Alwi Abdul Jalil Habibie and R.A. Tuti Marini Puspowardojo is a new information for many Indonesian. In the second sentence, the information given by his father is highly predictable because it refers to Alwi Abdul Jalil Habibie mentioned in the previous sentence. However, the rest of the sentence was an agriculturist from the Gorontalo. This can, by contrast, is unpredictable. The information here is all new. The predictable information given at the beginning of the sentence is called theme, and the unpredictable one given after the predictable is called theme. All sentences given above show all general tendency that in writing we use theme to precede theme. This can be considered as a natural order that reflects the order of things in the real world. The fact suggests that when we write out something, we should begin with what is already known and keep on writing to what is not known. Nevertheless, we need to know that the theme and the theme pattern also exist in the spoken language. The used theme and the theme commonly bring particular in function which go beyond the meaning of the spoken sentence. The next question is what factor to consider in selecting targeted discourse to be analyzed to get required to relevant information on language in use in context. Also explain why the factors are essential, namely international and external factor. The internal element of discourse consists of units of word or sentence. What is meant by word unit is speech in the form of one word. To become a large discourse structure, the unit of word sentence will be related and merged. The external element of discourse is something that is part of the discourse but does not appear explicit. something that it outside the lingual unit of discourse. It present surface as a complement to the wholeness of the discourse. This external element consists of implicature, preposition, reference, inference, and context. Analysis and understanding of this element can help understanding of a discourse. The next question: do you agree with saying that discourse analysis has significant contribution to English language pedagogy? Explain your answer with strong reason. First is, of course, pedagogical organization can be seen from the result of discourse analysis, which comprehensively present teaching representation model based on Tolman's argument. Teaching representation is the result of abstraction from organizing discourse unit, namely proposition. Proposition is the basic unit of information in information processing system. Proposition can be likened to idea, which is always consists of two elements, namely relationship and argument in a proposition. The relationship acts as an explanation of the argument of the relationship, can be a verb, adjective, or adverb. Although the relationship has a narrower meaning than the argument, but the relationship can limit the argument. The macro organization, which is the unit of analysis, is derived based on the criteria of predirection Kintech in Sregar. The main task in discourse analysis is to organize the small unit of micro proposition into large unit. Repeated macro proposition can be merged into macro proposition at various level of abstraction that eventually become global proposition. Thank you for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.